All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike, and today I'll be breaking down PFL Challenger Series Week 5 with my guy, Big Steve. We broke down the fights last week, and I believe we both did decently well. So what's up, Steve? Thanks for coming on again, brother, and what do you think for this card?
Hello, man. It's good to be back. I really appreciate you bringing me back for one of the most exciting PFL Challenger Series episodes. I feel honored. Yeah, I mean it's a card. It's a card that was hard to tape, but you get used to it. The more you tape, you just kind of become what's the word for it? Desensitized to really hard fights to tape, especially when you're watching female fights. But yeah, I'm excited to find some spots, just like last week.
Maybe we'll even get another fighter listening to us. Turns out Elvin Espinoza checked out our video last week. Thank God we spoke well about him.
Yeah.
Would have been a little different, but all right, we can hop right into these fights. There's really nothing too exciting, but maybe it'll be fun once they start. We've got Helen Peralta versus Lisa Mauldin to start the card. Peralta 6'3" She's 34 years old, 5'1" with a 65-inch reach. I do not have her gym. For Mauldin, 4'3" She's 32, 2 years younger. She's going to be 6 inches taller and have a 2-inch reach advantage, training out of Team Oyama. So why don't you start us off, Steve?
Nice. Yeah, interesting fight. Yeah, Peralta's got a bit of a name. She's fought the who's who. Fought what's his name? The sister of Pereira in the last fight. I sprinkled her a little bit there. She was on the way to losing if not for that little flash knockdown. She's got power, but recently she's just cage pushing a lot. It's just quite horrible to watch, and she doesn't have the greatest takedowns. So she spends a lot of time against the cage, and she lost a clear unanimous decision to 2022 Poliana Botello, which was embarrassing. But Botello actually landed all the takedowns on her, despite the whole fight was against the cage. Essentially, that was a horrible fight. Yeah, she's got power. She loves to brawl, and she's quite durable. Yeah, that's pretty much all she is, really. If I was her, I would get back to the old style. This new style is just horrible to watch. It's not really working for her. And the other chick, Mauldin, she's fought the who's who as well, fought Lavado, Neil, who's in the main event, we'll talk about later. And she actually beat her, and she had a respectable performance against Sam Hughes, and then lost as a massive favorite to Whitney Piles, who's not that great. But yeah, I just think this line is a bit crazy. I think Mauldin can hold her own. She's tall, she's long, she's got kind of nice footwork, she sticks and moves. She's good at taking the back. If she gets held up against the cage by Peralta, she can probably weasel away to the back. She did the same to Neil when they fought. She's got good takedowns herself. Yeah, this is just a low-level women's MMA fight, but there's going to be a lot of cage push, and I got the early line, the $4.60 plus $3.60, I think that is. Yeah, just for a tiny sprinkle, $300 to win the unit. Yeah, no, not overly confident, but it's like, how can you go wrong, man? The only thing is, Mauldin's a bit hittable, and she gets busted up by everyone, right? She's bleeding against Neil, she's bleeding against Hughes, of all people. She's bleeding against that Piles chick, which I think lost to the fight. I have Peralta comes in there with the old style she used to fight with, where she starts swinging bombs, man. Could be a knockout. The bet could be dead in the water, but yeah, I had to sprinkle a little bit on this on the dog. What about you?
Do you think Mauldin lost that Piles fight?
I'll be honest, man. It was just hard to concentrate. Really, it was the commentator had her up 2-0 after the second round. She definitely lost the third from memory. But yeah, I thought it was maybe the round 2 was close, so maybe it could have been 1-1 going into the third. Who knows? But yeah, I think mixture of losing to someone like that and then Peralta beating Pereira's sister. By the way, 15 minutes against the cage against a kickboxer in Pereira, and she didn't get one takedown. So her wrestling is horse crap.
Yeah, so I hit up Steve after I taped this because I honestly couldn't even control myself. I don't know what set me off so hard, but I started taping Peralta. And previously, I looked at the line without taping it like a few days back, and I was like, all right, I don't even know who this Mauldin girl is. Like, I know Peralta just beat Pereira. It's probably makes sense with the line. And then I taped it today, and I was like, I hate you. I hate you, Peralta. Like, all she does is just cage push recently. That's literally all she's doing. She's not doing things against the clinch. She's not getting takedowns from there. She's not really doing all that much damage. She's just holding people up. So how are you going to win fights? Like, yeah, you get a win here and there against people who are like, all right, but Pereira's super green. Run that fight back in like 2 years, I think it's going to go very different. And for somebody coming from a bare knuckle boxing background from Peralta, you would think she's going to strike more. And like you said, she's kind of gone away from that, and I think that's hurting her. So I am on Mauldin too. I also took a shot at her at plus 310, and I think in the striking at range, she's actually going to find more success. I think that in the grappling, like you mentioned, Peralta is not the best wrestler, and Mauldin isn't either, but she can get takedowns too. I think it's going to be a close, super sloppy fight. So I way rather hold a plus 310 ticket than hold a, minus 425 ticket and sweat with it.
Of course, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people putting Peralta in parlays. Yeah, good luck.
I mean, yeah, I just like, I feel like it could have been way closer of a line. After taping it could have been much closer and it would have made sense.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. There's so many fights this week. Surely you can find a better parlay piece. Jesus, that's all I have to say.
It's hard on this card. I was like thinking about putting together a parlay, and I don't think I'll be able to, but we'll talk about it more. We've got Maira Mazar versus Desiree Yanez for the second fight. Mazar coming in on short notice. Yanez was supposed to fight Hackett, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So Mazar, she's 8-5-0. Do not have her age. She's 5'3", training out of Evolve MMA. Yanez 6-4-0. She's 33, 1 inch taller, 65-inch reach, training out of Blitz Sport MMA. I'll start this one up, and I remember Mazar because she fought what was her name, McCormack, and pretty sure that was also short notice if I remember correctly. And she didn't look very good there. McCormack got her down. She held her down a bit. You did see Mazar get her own takedown, and she like took the back kind of standing and just held it there for like almost the entire round, but didn't really do anything with it. I feel like that's more of just like a negative for McCormack rather a positive for Mazar. And then her striking, it just looks okay to me. She seems really hittable. A few fights in ONE FC, not against the best women over there, and she didn't do very well. So I think her ground game is just really bad. That's what I noticed. And if you look at her Instagram, she has no gi world silver medalist up there. And she's been submitted 4 times, and she has 1 sub win and has abysmal ground game. So I don't know what that medal is from. And on Yanez's side, like, it's not like she's some stud, not like she's going to be some UFC contender, but I think she's just all around better. Her striking looks pretty good. She's fast, nice counter game. She's got decent power. I like her striking defense quite a bit more. The takedown defense, I think, is better, and she can scramble. So I think Yanez is going to outwork her. I think she's just a better fighter. And right now, you got Yanez minus 179. You got Mazar plus 154. I have no interest there, but if Yanez comes down to like, I don't know, minus 150, I'd probably play it, something like that. What do you think, Steve?
No, I personally wouldn't touch Yanez. I mean, she's fighting extremely low level of competition, and she always fights close or loses. I mean, Melissa Martinez in that Combate fight who just lost to Elise Reed. Yeah, Ortega and Bellator losing unanimous. Like, just Bruno Ellen split. All these fights are the same. She's kind of striking. It's just close. No power. Occasionally mixes in takedowns. Gets taken down herself. Like her last fight, she got a round 1 knockout against a 2-2 chick. I personally was looking at the dog. This Maira Mazar. I mean, she's fought as high as bantamweight in ONE FC. I mean, I'll take ONE FC over anything. In terms of Dirty Dez's competition level. And I mean, yeah, she has been submitted a lot by me. She's submitted by Weili Zhang. And that Ayaka Mura, the 9-2 chick that submitted in ONE FC, she's actually a 3rd-degree black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. So, I mean, you have to put things into perspective a little bit. Danny McCormack's decent grappler. She had her back, didn't submit her. But she actually had McCormack's back and had a deep rear naked choke. And McCormack was 5-0, or she had 1 loss in Bellator before being cut. But yeah, she's not good either. I'm more concerned about her, striking defense. She got almost knocked out by Danny McCormack, which is pretty big red flag. And she was at strawweight there, but she usually fights at flyweight and, like I said, bantam. So yeah, I was looking into her. I was like, yeah, she's got a Sandra background, but yeah, like, what is there to say? I mean, I'm going to have a similar breakdown about a lot of these fights. What is there to say on this matchup? Really, like, I would rather hit the dog. She got hurt by the chick that guillotined her, Jenilyn Olsen. Like, she's currently 6-4, which is a bit better. She's like a Filipino Muay Thai striker girl. And she was taking her down, and she got the guillotine later on. But she was cracking her bad with the right hand, and then she was hurt by McCormack, and yeah, she's got some good wrestling. So I don't know. I might have to look into it some more. Maybe she can out wrestle Dirty Des. Maybe it's a close striking battle. But yeah, no, definitely can't hit the favorite. And just the fact that Des knocked out that chick in round 1. I don't know if this Maira Mazar girl is chinny or not, but yeah, this at least 2-3 fights I've seen her cracked. But yeah, it's a dog or pass for me. Just no conviction, really.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense with a fight like this. I don't think you can really have much conviction, but we can move on to the next one. We've got 2 women who have kind of been in the UFC. One of them was Shanna Young versus Sandra Lavado. Young is 8-5-0. She's 32 years old, 5'7" with a 65-inch reach, training out of Syndicate MMA. Lavado, 11-3-0. She's going to be, 28 years old, 4 years younger, 1 inch shorter, same reach. And for her, let me double check if I got anything. I do not. So we're going with Tapology, Maximo's Combat Club. Start us off, Steve.
Yeah, another fight that's a fight. Yeah, I taped Sandra Lavado, just to see, do I want to fade Shanna Young at this line. Lavado is just a bit of whole lot of nothing. Obviously, I taped her when I was in Europe last year in Serbia. She made her debut in Contender Series. Awful level of competition. She just sticks the moves on the outside. Usually at flyweight. She made weight down to strawweight for her Contender Series debut. She didn't seem drawn out. Had no problem. And now she's moving back up to flyweight again. I just feel like, it's a bit of a lazy situation. Moving up to flyweight, she doesn't cut weight. She went back to her really low regional scene, FFC, I think in Peru. I mean, she keeps rematching girls. She's lost to one girl twice. And then the last girl she beat, Anna Martinez, after Contender Series, she had a rematch booked with her as well and then got cancelled. So she's just she beats the girl and then rematches her again. And so I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, there's just what it comes down to. I think, Young's not amazing, but I just think she's an ex-bantamweight. She's very physical. I was tempted to play Young a few times on UFC as a massive dog, against Miranda. I think I played her against Mazzani just because she's so physical and strong, which is a rare thing for women. Yeah, I don't know, I just don't. Nothing excites me about Sandra Lavado. She's going to stick and move on the outside. There's zero power. It's going to be a close striking decision, if Young kind of drops the ball and doesn't grapple. Lavado likes to cage push and grapple. I think at some point she's going to do that against Young, because she even did it against that Carolina voice chick girl who's just a complete grappler. She can't help herself. And at that point, I think she might get judo tossed by Young. And then Young is just going to implement her physicality on her, just be the more experienced, stronger girl, the bigger girl. So yeah, nothing I like here. The dog just doesn't fill me with any confidence, and no way I'm playing Young at this juice line.
Yeah, so I have a special place in my heart for Young. I hit her against Mazzani, but I also played by KO in that fight. It was like plus 1,000, something like that. Hit that. That was nice. And yeah, I mean, I think that she's going to be better than Lavado. I really think that she's going to outwork her everywhere. I don't really see what Lavado has for her. I feel like their striking is kind of similar, but Young is just better. I think that Lavado is way more hittable. She had a 6-inch reach advantage against Wojcik on the Contender Series and was still getting tagged up and hit on the feet. And if Wojcik can land like that at range with a 6-inch reach disadvantage, I think Young is going to land more. I think she hits harder. I think she lands more effectively.
You've frozen on me, mate. And you're muted as well.
How about now?
That's better.
All
I
right,
kind of enjoyed it when you were muted better there. Let's try that.
Get
Let's
the
try
heck
that
out
for
of
the
here,
rest of the
Steve.
podcast.
It's my mic, dude. I don't know why it falls out sometimes, but all right, we
It's
can.
fine.
Dude, at one time I did an entire 25-minute podcast on some regionals, and my mic was off the entire time. I was so pissed when I re-recorded. I was not having it, but now I always check. But yeah, I just wouldn't play Lavado. I don't think she wins. So even at plus 295, like that doesn't make me want to play her. And then Shanna Young at minus 360. You can't pay me enough to play that. Even if you gave me your money, I wouldn't bet it. So we can move on to the last fight. There's really just nothing standing out here. It's so annoying.
We can talk about the over-unders at the end.
Oh yeah, I mean if you have any at any point, yeah, throw it in. I was looking at the under for Young Lavado because I think there might be a finish there on the Young side.
Yeah, let's do the card and then we'll because I don't have odds. I'm just kind of like filtering through
Okay.
best bet online, but I'll probably get him in a day or so. We'll have a little chat.
All right, gotcha. So we'll talk about it at the end. But for this fight, we've got Kaytlin Neal versus Katherine Corogenes. Corogenes coming in on short notice. Neal was originally supposed to fight. Do you remember who it was off the top of your head?
Great itch out.
Great out. Yeah. Okay. So now she's fighting Corogenes. Corogenes, I believe her last fight or second to last fight was against Dakota Desheva on the PFL. Got knocked out in the first round. Dakota's a beast, though. For this fight, I mean, I'll start it off. You got Kaytlin Neal coming off of the Ultimate Fighter. She's got, I believe, a win in Invicta in her last fight. And she's pretty good. I feel like I like a lot that she's doing on the feet. I thought the counter game was pretty good. I noticed that. I like that everything in the striking is straight down the pipe. I really care about that when I'm looking at striking. And she's going to have a reach advantage with 3 inches here. She's going to have a 1-inch height advantage. And I just don't really see what Corogenes is going to do to her. I don't hate Corogenes. I think she could be something. Maybe never like amazing, but I think she could be pretty good. Her striking doesn't look awful to me. She doesn't really cover herself well in the pocket, though, and she leans away from strikes and it really doesn't look very good. And she can get some wrestling going, but I don't think she's going to be able to take down Neal. I certainly don't think she can out-control Neal. So for me, it's Neal for sure as the pick, but she's what, minus 360 right now? There's no meat on the bone there. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, just another fight that I just wanted to look into the dog. I actually remember Katherine when she fought Dakota. You know, I looked into her, found some tape. It seems like I thought she's training in Thailand, I'm pretty sure, and I thought we're looking at like a decent Muay Thai chick, and I saw she was a bit ripped and fighting in like Muay Thai rings. But yeah, she seems to be exclusively a jiu-jitsu girl, looking for takedowns. I found a couple of fights. One was in Mount. She got an armbar. Other one was in Mount in round 3 over some Chinese girl that has a decent winning record now, 5-2 or 5-3. So I'm like, yeah, maybe, she's from a good gym. She's got good jiu-jitsu. Maybe, she gives Dakota a fight. She's, kind of seems ripped, so she's not some soccer bum. Luckily, I didn't play anything there, and I didn't play the over because just absolutely ran through her. I just didn't know much about Dakota back then. I was just fading women's and juiced MMA. And yeah, now I'm retaping it. Now I'm just seeing more red flags, as in she kind of fell over against Dakota. Kind of pulls guard. I've seen that in the armbar win as well against Sarah Safari. I think it was some Thai chick. Just kind of grabbed onto the collar sleeve and just fell down, like trying to do like some sort of like an armbar. So to me, it's just like she won't even go for takedown. She's happy to be on her back, which is not a good thing against Kaytlin. Kaytlin Neal, I just think is horrible. Right, she's already lost to Lisa Mauldin by split, the girl that we just both have a bet on. She's had a split decision to Helen Peralta, which, I mean, that's probably her best win. If anything, that was just Peralta being a punching bag and just not really differentiating herself in that fight. Yeah, all her fights are just close, man. I mean, she got knocked out with a 1-2 by Ashley Dean. Like, oh, Jesus. Like, it was just a 1-2 down a pipe and she fell down and covered. Like, who do you see get knocked out with a clean 1-2 in women's MMA, like at strawweight? It was.
I almost said Matt Frivola, then you said women's MMA.
I know. Well, obviously, you see it all the time in males MMA. But that was just like, I had to, like, wiki cap Ashley Dean, see how much power she has, and she doesn't have any power. Just little concerning things like that. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to play the dog. She's also been finished by Juliana Miller. It's hard to play the dog, just because like she essentially pulls guard, and you're looking at the grappling tape from Neil. She kind of has a back and forth with a young Tracy Cortez. Never in any danger from Cortez. She kind of sweeps Cortez. She takes her down. The way I lean is, I just feel like if Neil wants top time, she's going to get it, just because Corogenes just happy to be on her back. Probably going to stay safe. I didn't see any, armbar from guard danger from her. And she's just going to, maybe get a close decision win in a fight where there might be a little bit of value, but she's just going to be slightly higher level. And in that last fight against Hannah Guy and Victor, she kind of hurt her multiple times, with some teeps, some nice 1-2s. So, yeah, she seems to have a little bit more striking than Corogenes. But yeah, just a dog that I don't have any conviction in, and again, not touching this favorite line whatsoever.
All right, so in agreement there, and that's it with the card. You want to talk some props and totals real quick?
Yeah, I'll just go through them. I'm inclined to believe that all of these are going to be lined at 2.5 rounds.
They are.
What a surprise. All right, Helen Peralta, what do we got here? So the over is at $1.38. Yeah, that could be potentially one, just because how hittable Lisa is, and she's just like bloody against every single girl she's faced. Maybe that one.
You mean the under?
Helen, yeah, it's $3 plus 200 if Helen comes out. I mean, Helen dropped, was a kickboxer, a really good kickboxer in Pereira's sister. That could be potentially one. I don't know what you think about that, but you're bound to get a shitload of cage time, so it's like.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's the only reason that I probably wouldn't, because if I have that ticket and she starts doing that thing again that's already pissed me off, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to fly to her and I'm going to fight her. And she'll probably kick my ass, but I'll try anyways.
I mean, that's why it's, such a dog line, right? They're all expecting cage time. It's kind of baked into it. But she's got one punch KO power, man. And she was finished by Kay Hansen on the ground. So, I mean, some red flags.
4K Hansen.
Actually, she only has, she's got 2 one-punch KO, one in bare knuckle and one in her debut. Yeah, I probably don't like that. I would be forcing that.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew she was gonna fight, then I would probably play it. But because I don't know if she's actually gonna fight, I'm gonna stay off of that one. What do you think for the Lavado Young one? Under 2.5, set up plus 185 for us. I think that's close to $3 for you. You call it?
Let me double check. Yeah, pretty similar to the Peralta. Yeah, I guess I could. I mean, that girl Lavado had some, bottom time against that Wojcik girl. Never really close, but yeah, the physicality could be massive here. If Young just comes out how she came out against Gina Mazzani, and she's been finished herself by ground and pound as well, that was a weird fight. Maybe she's got some durability issues too. Yeah, it's another one that all the finishing upside is on Young's side. That's the thing.
That's what I was gonna say. You don't get props like Young KO or Young ITD, right?
No. I'll take what I can get. I didn't even have these kind of props last year on PFL. So
yeah, so we have plus 375 for Young by KO. I think I might play that. I think Lavado is not that durable, super hittable, and I think Young hits hard.
That's a good play. I'd rather sprinkle that. It's kind of like the Danilo Marquez last time. I was seeing, do I want to play the over-under? But the majority of the finishing upside was him by submission. I just had to see, is he going to get the submission in the under? At least Young could potentially do it like at the end, maybe late round 3. So yeah, I'd rather play that.
All right, cool. And then let's see, Yanez, Mazar, under is set at plus 130, which actually is weird to me. What do you think about that one? And money's coming in on it too.
What was it? Say that again.
Plus 130 for us, so not sure what that is.
Under.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? That one I might be tempted with, man. Just because, this Mazar, she gets hurt by everyone. The only thing is she recovers every single time, and then she's actually winning rounds too, at a pretty high clip. So pretty high level of recovery. And then Yanez, I've never seen Yanez really hurt or anything. He just fights very safe, very boring. Yeah, I mean, that one's can't ignore how many times that chick's been hurt and submitted. So
Yeah.
maybe we got something there on
That's
Yanez.
probably why the line's been moving. It opened at plus 200, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of at these odds. I'm leaning the over kind of. It's minus 160. I probably wouldn't get there just yet, depending on how much it moves though. Because what you said, like, yeah, Mazar can get finished. She's hittable, but most of the time, both of these women are just dragging fights out. So
yeah, I mean that Muay Thai girl that she fought, like you could see that her striking was like super sharp.
Olsen.
Like, yeah, there was none of that on tape from Yanez whatsoever, despite her knocking out that 2-2 chick. And she ate some bombs, like full on naked leg kick, getting countered with a clean right on the chin. Her head turned the other way, and she just gets up and just works her wrestling. So recovery is good, but it's, we might have to look into it some more. I might have to look into it to see if Yanez has any, flakiness to her. Probably not. Just, yeah. That's the only one I'll inspect some more.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching that line too. Definitely probably not going to tape much more of this card just because I have to do Bellator. We were talking about this. There's 18 fights this week for some reason.
I don't complain. That's good. Hopefully
I was going to say I can't complain, and it's actually a pretty good card too. But what do you think for this last fight, props wise? Under 2.5 is set at plus 155. Money's coming in the other way right now.
Yeah, this is another one that might get my attention. Just under 2.5. Yeah, this is probably it's the least paying one. The worst price in terms of dog money. But yeah, I mean, she's hurt that Hannah guy a bit, Neil, right? She got finished by Miller with a submission, which is probably Katherine's best part. I didn't like how Dakota essentially knocked her out cold with a 1-2 as well. Maybe there's some durability issues. Maybe after 2.5 rounds of just constant teeps and 1-2s by Kaytlin O'Neill, she maybe just breaks, falls apart. She's got a guillotine against an absolute bum in round 3, which was under 2.5. Yeah, another one that I have to kind of inspect. She was knocked out in round 1 in her amateur career as well.
Corogenes?
No,
Neil.
So she's got 2 knockouts, round 1 knockout losses in the first round. Surprisingly, Peralta didn't knock her out. So it's just women's MMA makes no sense, dude. It just makes no sense.
I just hate Peralta. I hate Peralta now. But yeah, if I played this one, it would probably be. I'm looking at Neil inside the distance. I know you don't get that. It's plus 200. Neil by KO is plus 350. Does she have any subs on her record, Neil?
Yeah, she does. She's got a guillotine over the Aguilar bum right before Tough. It was just the girl just looked out of shape, and it was just the most boring fight up until the girl shot a sloppy takedown and was guillotined, which could happen. Like, I've got questions about this Katherine. Like, she seems good on tape, but after seeing that Dakota fight, the constant guard pulling, and now she's coming in on short notice. Yeah, maybe she's got some flakiness to her, man. Maybe I'll, as much as it breaks my heart, I might have to do some deep diving on these horrible fights. But maybe after Bellator and maybe after KSW as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get some KSW down. Do you have any read on the Hui fight? I haven't really gotten to look into it, but I've been fading him recently with some success.
Oh, don't fade my boy. Actually, what am I talking about? I faded him myself against Katisi as a massive favorite. I didn't look into that one. I just looked into 2 fights. I looked into that guy whose last name is Hamburger. It's literally spelled hamburger. And actually, I got his name here.
Hamburger,
same crap. Versus a Serb dude, Nikolic. And yeah, I really didn't like the line at Juice, because he can be taken down. And Nikolic is like just a big boy that was just taking everyone down and finishing on the ground. But yeah, now the fight's off. So one fight I taped and then it's cancelled, which I love, absolutely love.
Which fight's off?
It's not off, but I think Nikolic is replaced by someone else against the double cheese hamburger. Can you whip up that last comment by Just Win?
He just pulled up. Love to see my son Steve growing his network.
Oh, the second one.
He doesn't try to fade me again. He was coming at you with Andrade, I remember, right?
I would love to fade you, but you blocked me on Twitter for some reason, so I would like to know the reason, mate.
Oh man,
it's interesting. Maybe he just got his feelings hurt for me responding to his trolls. I don't know.
Hey man, I have to deal with so many trolls on the daily. I'm so used to it at this point. Teams.
He won his bet and then started making fun of me and he just blocked me. I was like, that's fine. I could take a joke. Maybe he didn't want to see my comeback. That's fine.
My only thing is though, like, if you're gonna block him, why are you pulling up on the video to clown on him?
Yeah, because it's a pansy move to do. He's quite sensitive.
Well, keep winning, just win, baby. We're cheering for you. And Mr. X, Team Skatiti, yes, sir. I'm all over him this week. I'm hype. But that's for a different video if I end up putting it out. Did you tape that one yet, Steve?
I have. I talked to you about it. I don't know how good that kid is. You know, I found his last fight where he beat a 10-5 guy. That's the best guy on his record, and he got his grappling off for 3 rounds, which is what Skatisi does. And Skatisi gas is bad, so I don't really want to fade this kid. I don't know how good this kid is. That's all. I don't want to pay $1.44 on Skatisi. Yes, he's fought high level of competition, but it's just not my type of play. There's 18 fights. I'm sure I'll be happy with 1 or 2 plays on Bellator. So if I don't have any plays, that's when I'm going to start forcing stuff. But no, it's too early to force stuff.
Yeah, I feel you. So far for Bellator, what do I have? I snagged Jeremy Kennedy at minus 125. I love that bet. I don't know why. I know Carvalho fights well, and like I bet him as the dog against Burnell, but
Same.
I don't know about these odds. What is it? Yeah, I got minus 120 there. And then Kieran Clark, actually, I got at minus 235 because when the line came out, a shit ton of money came in on his opponent for some reason. But he is now back at minus 410. So I'm happy with that play. Skatitsi played that one. And then Liam McCracken is my dog. I'm looking at what do you think of the the Amasov fight? You look at that one much yet?
I did, yeah. I played a little bit of Stoley. You're just getting all my free bets out of me, mate. This was a setup. This is a setup. No one
wants to the Couch Warrior pod, bro. This is what we do.
No one wants to pay the $100 a week for my Patreon, so you get me on here to give my
got to raise that price, dude. That's too cheap.
I know, yeah. The rates, my mortgage is absolutely killing me, so I might make it $150 a week.
But all right, guys, that's a card. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I'll hopefully put out Bellator content this week. Tomorrow I'm doing my prop show with Propaholic on Twitter Spaces. And and I am making an appearance tomorrow. I'm going to go double check about the channel and everything while Steve tells you guys where to find him. Steve, thanks for pulling up again. Always fun to have you on. And why don't you tell everybody what you have going this week?
That's cool, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm always down. And I wouldn't mind having you on my podcast at some point. Just on the Big Brain MMA podcast. That's my YouTube channel. Big Steve _MMA on Twitter. I already did a UFC breakdown. This is my PFL breakdown. I won't be doing anything like that. So just hopefully I'll definitely be doing a KSW and hopefully do a Bellator. Something's going to have to give this week. Free bets, free picks. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can.
Make sure you're following Big Steve. You heard it here first. And as for the channel I'm talking about tomorrow, I'll be joining Ant Pixum on the Line pod, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to check them out. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Not doing like the regular breakdowns. There's just a bunch of categories of fights we're going to talk about. Just to spoil one of them, James Krause fight means low IQ. What is this fighter doing? Excited to pick that one out for myself. And yeah, that's what I got going this week. Thank you guys all for tuning in again. Good luck with any of your bets and peace out.